This is the quick start guide / demo for eWills. Our first step here is to git clone from the project repository. So we'll copy the git URL, open up a terminal, and we'll run git clone. Now you'll need git for this, and I'm just going to download it directly to my desktop here. So yep, once we have that downloaded, looks something like this, and we'll cd into eWills. Okay, so here is what our folder looks like. Real quick, what I won't go through on how to deploy to Concordium's testnet. I highly recommend looking at Concordium's documentation. And then as well as I highly recommend going to look at the documentation on Concordium's website on how to get the wallet hooked up. So we're going to focus on demo version 2 here. So we'll cd into demo version 2, and this is just a React dApp. So we'll run npm install, and that'll install all the dependencies. Okay, and now we can run npm start, and then make sure you have your Google tab open. Okay, so our first step here is to connect our Concordium wallet to our dApp. As I said prior, you need, I would highly recommend to go look at the Concordium documentation on how to get the Concordium wallet installed in your dApp or in your browser. Once it's installed, we're going to run, I'm going to use this account here, and we're going to create a will. So we'll press connect wallet. This will prompt us to connect to our local host. As you can see, we already have some wills I created using this account. What we'll do now is we'll create a new will. And what we'll first do is select the file we want to use. Now I have a demo file here, and it's just a text file, and it's the representation of a will. Now wills can be PDFs, they can be text files, Word documents, quite a bit of different, but I'm just going to show for demo purposes that a text file will work. Okay, and now our notary that we want to use. Now the notary identity would be a real world person that you know is a official notary, or a one appointed or certified notary in this case. And it would be their digital identity, which is just their wallet, right? And this comes back to how a will is discovered and who notarized that will during the discovery process. Now I explained, the README explains this pretty well. So we have our notary and our file. Now what is generated here is the hash of the file, and that is used to keep authenticity and provide a checksum for our will, a verification, I should say. So we'll press upload, and it's going to ask for, it's going to be to make sure we're on the right address here, testator, and we're going to sign and submit. Now I like to look at our hash here. We can go to Concordium's testnet. We can go look at the hash. A contract instance, and it was from our 3N OQ address. And we can go back. So let's refresh it. As you can see, here's our new will. Now, you can see some of these have been notarized already. And I'll get into that process next. And that's when we have to switch to a different identity, which is the notary identity, to go and notarize the will. Now, the bottom section here is the latest will that has been notarized, or our active will. And what this is doing is the wills on top are all our prior wills that have been created. and it's always going to be the latest one that has been notarized. So let me rephrase that. Our active will always be the latest notarized will. And that comes back to the idea that wills can also be reviewed in court. So having the blockchain be utilized as immutable data, you can incorporate wills directly into that. So wills will always exist on the blockchain, right? Data always persists on the blockchain. You can never delete it. Allowing the court to identify prior wills, which prior wills can also revoke recent wills due to how the court system sees wills. Now, the idea is to keep all your wills in one place, safe, secure, and under your identity. So that's what the active will is the latest one that's been notarized. And what we'll do is, actually, I should create a new will here that has different text. Let me do that real quick. So let me upload, let me open that text file. So I just have my demo text file here. I'll just say, this is my latest will, being full agent sign. Okay, so there, I modified it, saved it. Now let's go select it. Desktop. Okay, and we can see our hash will be, different, and we'll keep the notary the same, and we'll upload that. Now, what the upload actually is doing is we're uploading this file directly to IPFS. So sign submit. I believe it takes half a second. So we uploaded that will. Now what we're going to do is notarize that one, and what it will do is also set it to our active will. So I'm going to jump down here, this little button, and it will allow me to notarize a will. And before we do that, I'm going to switch accounts to our notary. So I'll jump over to our notary account. Oops, I gotta connect. There we go. So we're our notary account. And now what we'll need is our testator. So I have it saved. And then I believe that was the third will. Let's see. Nope, the fourth will. Yeah, so here it is. This is my latest will. And what we need is a witness. Now, the witness would be someone that the testator knows and can vouch for the testator. So they witness the signature of the will. As of now, I believe most notaries are done online using Zoom and over the internet, over video. So it'd be cool to kind of incorporate that into this as a further down the line project. But anyway, so we're just going to copy the middle address here. I have it set as testator. It's under the testator's identity, but it's a different address. Ideally, you'd want to make sure that the address is owned by the witness. So we're just going to paste it in. And then we have our hash of our file. Now, what this will do is allow the testator to allow the notary to identify that the wills match up, right? So the hash matches up with the hash of the file itself. So we'll press notarize. We'll confirm this transaction. And you can see our will hash, our will ID, and the witness has our inputs parameters. And we can get that. We can get the transaction here. Successful. Okay, we'll go back. Now we'll go back to, we'll switch accounts. Go back to testator. Switch back over to our, okay, as you can see, the will here was updated to our active will. This is my latest will, which is the one we just created. And you can see it at the end here. A couple things at the bottom I want to explain. One is e-sealing, and of course we've already gone through the notarization process. E-sealing I explain it in the README. I'll explain it again. It verifies authenticity of the will file itself. And e-sealing is done during the notarization process, which consists of the file being hashed and the timestamp of the file itself. And now the timestamp also allows the courts to identify when the will was notarized, And it's just a basic tamper-proof system that shows that the will has not been tampered with since the notarization process. And it can be shown in a court setting. One thing I wanted to incorporate into the wills was encryption. And my thought process behind it was to utilize the proofs, the ID proofs, to somehow use those to encrypt the file itself. The problem is the process of decrypting the file during the discovery phase when a will is presented to the court. You would have to identify how, or some sort of mechanism that allows the revoke anonymity to also decrypt files using the profile or using the identity. I think I'm going to end it. Thank you for listening.